Buck Sexton is a former CIA analyst, now with the Hill newspaper, and we're happy to have him tonight. So, Buck, unravel this mystery for me, and I'm only being half disingenuous. How can you, right in the middle of a presidential campaign, when you're extolling the virtues of mass immigration, be angry when someone proposes that you live with it?
I think that initially this was a risk for Trump to put out there, because the migrants at the border, and I was just down at El Paso at the border crossing there, seeing them being processed under an overpass, and the entirety of the overwhelmed system, which is just mind-boggling when you see it in up close and personal. But I would think that initially people at the border would like the idea of being transitioned to sanctuary cities. They're actually working with NGOs there. So when Trump said this, I thought, well, hold on a second. Why does this make any sense? Oh, because the Democrats, the ones that are always talking about how much we need more of these illegal immigrants, these are not legal immigrants that have crossed the country, they all of a sudden have a problem with this. I actually found it somewhat surprising, Tucker, because the hypocrisy seems so brazen and so quick. It seemed to me like Trump almost took a risk by saying we would do this because the migrants would want this. A lot of them would want to be transferred to these places, to major cities across the country. But the Democratic Party has a problem with it all of a sudden.
It's so interesting, though, that the journalists who are now completely and firmly ensconced as the mouthpiece of the ruling class in this country joined in and somehow argued this was dirty pool. It was unfair to move these people into their neighborhoods.
The defining characteristics right now of the Democratic Party on immigration are a lot of lies, things like there are no caravans, there is no crisis at the border, and we've talked about this on your show in recent months. It's only going to get worse, which it has, by the way. It has only gotten worse, and they've been lying about this on and on, but also the hypocrisy. And you were touching on this in your monologue, where there's always this sense among people like Nancy Pelosi that more is better, that the more we can take in from the border, even when they're crossing illegally, that's great. But it's not going to be in their schools, their emergency rooms, their government services and systems, at least in their neighborhoods, that are necessarily going to bear the brunt of this. And in places like L.A. and San Francisco, which are obviously very prominent sanctuary cities, the infrastructure is actually having a rough time right now. People are starting to see the tent cities, the problems on the streets. And so just the optics of this, the politics of transferring people, might actually get people in those cities to think twice about this. I don't know if they would. Some of them might. But you have to also ask the question, why have an immigration system at all? If more is better, if illegal is fine, if it's all the same, why do we have H-1B visas? Why do we have all these processes? And I would like someone to start asking, if the press corps was honest, they would ask this of the Democrats who are running, who say there's no such thing as an illegal person. Okay, well, then why do we have an immigration system at all? Why isn't it just check in on your way into the United States, which, by the way, is what we have at the southern border right now. We have just if you have a kid with you, if you're a family unit, it is a check-in system. 48 hours, you're in the interior of the United States, probably never to be seen in a court or by any federal official again. It's going to be $1 million for the year at the current rate.
Let's move them to Nantucket, and I'm not even joking. I'm dead serious. Let's move them to Nantucket and see how that works. Buck, great to see you.
Tucker, good to see you.